Okay, so now let's look at some data types. So the first thing we're going to look at are types of numbers. So numbers can be differentiated into a few broad types, but mainly what we deal with are numbers that can store decimal places, and we call those double generally, and numbers that are whole numbers, so we call those integers. So anytime you type in a number and you don't put quotes around it, because if you do, then it will be treated like a string. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying to keep the console clean here. So for example, if I did like x is equal to 9, y is equal to 2, and I did x plus y, then I would get back 11. If I did x is equal to 9 in quotes, and y is equal to 2 in quotes, and then I try to add those together, I get back an error, non-numeric argument to a binary operator. So it's not going to add strings together, is basically what it's telling you. So quotes imply strings, so these numbers are not treated like numbers. So if you want to treat it like a number, you don't put it in quotes. Okay, and then characters are basically just strings, alphanumeric values. It can be numbers, but they're not going to be treated like numbers. So for example, if I did like x is equal to data science, right? So that's a variable that's now storing a character, right? Logicals are basically just two values, true or false. So in R, logicals are all uppercase. So true in uppercase is logical or Boolean true. Y, and then false in all uppercase is again Boolean false. So they have to be all uppercase, and you don't put them in quotes. If you put it in quotes, it's going to be treated like a character string as opposed to a Boolean. And then lastly, dates are kind of their own special case. So dates, obviously you want to do specific things with dates that may not be applicable to like a string or a number. So you might want to subtract two dates and get not like a number, but get like the difference in minutes or days or whatever. So there's one of the complexities with dates, both in R and other languages, is it can be some complexity because they're not always defined consistently. And also we just don't define dates consistently, like for example, across different like countries and regions and whatnot. So we're not going to spend a lot of time dealing with dates in this first section, but I just want to note that they are their own unique data type. Okay, so what if you wanted to know the data type of a variable that's been defined? So there's a couple ways to do that. So let me real quickly here, I'm just going to we'll run this code and look at it. Okay, so here is x, and we're setting it equal to 1, and if we print type of x, since we didn't define the type, it might be a bit ambiguous, and then this type of is going to tell us what it is. So I'm just going to run that down here, and we see that it comes back as a double. So basically the default type for a number is a double, even if it is an integer. And then to turn it into an integer, we can use these as dot methods. So now we're basically setting y equal to an integer version of x. And if we try type of y, it should tell us now that that's an integer. Right? So these as dot functions are generally used to convert between different data types. In this example, I'm basically converting it into a character. So if we run, or let me just copy this again. So here now you can see it comes out as a character. So you can think about this as like 1 in quotes, right? And as opposed to 1 as a numeric value. And then here I'm basically just converting it back into a numeric value. So 1 in quotes goes back to 1 as a number. We get the type there. So again, now it's back to a double. Yeah, and then this is true. Oh, sorry. This is Boolean true. So if we get the type of that, it should tell us that it's Boolean true. And this is a date, but first off, we're just defining a date as a string. So this is January 20th, 2020. And then if we get the type of that, it should tell us that it is character. So it's character. And then we run this as a date function on that object to turn it into a date and save a copy of it to a new variable. And here we're basically defining the structure or the style of how the date's defined as month, day, year. And we're not going to get into that in detail in this section.